It's time once again for the Oscars, the show that's only worth watching to see what goes horribly wrong.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture.
And the Oscar goes to Crash.
Oh, wow!
Since you probably only saw Top Gun Maverick and Avatar 2 this year, here are honest trailers for all 10 Best Picture nominees to help you catch up before the ceremony. From the creator of Big League Chew, which should really come with a Lifetime Achievement Award, and an actor so distinguished you have to pronounce her name like this,
Kate Blanchett.
comes a bunch of classical music talk that will go over your head.
Marin Alsop, Joanne Falletta, Laurence Elcubet, Natalie Stutzman.
Visual symbolism you won't understand, and nuanced thoughts on the nature of power and prestige that will be ignored in favor of the same cancel culture bad debate for the millionth time. But after watching
Kate Blanchett.
remind the audience they're uncultured slobs for 3 hours, cheer as they finally throw the nerds a little bone at the end.
Sisters and brothers of the Fifth Fleet, it's time.
That's the score from Monster Hunter. I understood that reference. Video games are art now. Sick. Tick, Tick, Groom. From director Steven Spielberg comes a stirring look at the life of great American director Steven Spielberg. That's a little self-indulgent, but if anyone has earned it, it's director Steven Spielberg. Watch old Steve take an unflinching look at his extremely Jewish youth, starring the extremely not Jewish Michelle Williams.
Guilt is a wasted emotion.
Full of great cameos,
Family art.
solid filmmaking advice,
When the horizon's in the middle, it's boring as
and one weird trick that makes cleaning up a breeze.
Get that corner. Get the corner. Get the corner.
Cinema Therapisto. You laughed as the menu parodied the elite world of fine dining. You chuckled as Glass Onion reminded us billionaires aren't so smart. You smiled when The White Lotus mocked the rich for being unable to let loose. Now get ready to say, okay, I get it already. With 2022's fourth high-profile attempt to hurt the 1%'s feelings.
Do any of you know how to make a fire?
No!
As Ruben Östlund takes aim at social media influencers, Russian oligarchs,
I said
and champagne socialists in a film that struck a blow for the working class, taking the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and a whole bunch of Oscar nominations. Now win Best Picture, and rich people will have to change, right? Right? Creed 2, Cruise Control. From the director of Moulin Rouge, The Great Gatsby, and other movies that spin around so much you feel like you're in Triangle of Sadness, comes the true story of one young man's rise from obscurity and the fateful decision he was never able to fully leave behind, doing the Elvis voice.
But I think there's a lot less of it now.
I'm glad you say that. I hear it all the time.
Sure, Austin Butler's from Anaheim, California, but 2 years later, he's still doing King Face.
You know, I don't think I sound like him still, but I guess I must because I hear it a lot.
To the point where his fellow nominees have kindly asked him to cut it out. Do you want Tom Hanks to keep doing his Elvis voice?
Ain't nobody gonna do a better show than that.
The King's Leech. Prepare for a film that truly delivers on the promise of its title.
Staying and fighting.
You have to staying and
It doesn't matter what I think anyway.
Set in a religious community so old-fashioned, they're still using the first Queen Elizabeth. In the third example in 5 years of a Living in the Country Best Picture nominee starring Frances McDormand. She's like a human cheat code as these women come together to make an impossible decision.
do nothing.
Stay and fight. Leave.
But you know, no matter what the outcome, women be talking.
You women realize we are talking about leaving.
I want to talk about my horses, Ruth and Cheryl. We need to discuss options for the men and the older boys.
Would it be a good idea before we list the pros and cons to talk about exactly what it is we're fighting for?
I want to tell another story about Ruth and Cheryl. This is never going to end.
12 Angry Mennonites. From the studio that... Hang on a second. Hey, Karen? Yeah, it's John. Yeah, I know it's been a while. Did you happen to change your Netflix password? You mean they're not letting you share accounts anymore? See, this is exactly why we broke up in the first place. Based on the required reading you have remember from grade school comes a reminder that war never changes, and neither do war movies. Featuring all the required hits: The Trenches, Shellings, Gas Masks, Shell Shock, Stubborn Generals, Vets Who Can't Go Back to Civilian Life, Pew Pew Bang Bang, etc. In this epic prequel to World War II that after 1917 has made World War I the favorite setting for directors' most prestigious Call of Duty trick shot montages.
Oh my God! No way! There's no way, dude!
Woo! Killstreak tanks! Soldier Boy, tell 'em. It's a sequel to an action movie that audiences actually liked, so there's zero chance of it winning Best Picture, right? Still, enjoy this victory lap for the most crowd-pleasing film of the year that may not have much to say beyond Jets Go Vroom. But hey, Tom Cruise has pulled off more impossible stunts in the past, and no other nominee courts the boomer vote quite this hard.
Your kind is headed for extinction.
Maybe so, sir. But not today. Put your cell phone on my bar.
And you buy around.
I love this song.
World War Whee! Watch James Cameron be reunited with his favorite co-star, Water, in this sequel that asks us, why didn't 3D TVs catch on again? Oh, right. Reunite with Jake Sully and all his kids, because I guess there's no Pandoran pullout method, including his adopted daughter, Tree Jesus. They'll all learn to bend a new element from the Space Maori, battle evil colonizers, and... Okay, look, the full-honest trailer for this one is coming out soon. Can't give away all the jokes until then. The Life Aquatic with James Cameron. From Martin McDonagh, a director so famously Irish he was born and raised in London and married an English aristocrat, but still makes Irishness his whole thing, like if Boston were a person, comes a film Americans recognize right away as an allegory for the Irish Civil War, so long as there are no follow-up questions, about a 1920s clout chaser who ditched his friend for the cool table, and Colin Farrell as a real Forrest Gump type, who also happens to be in love with an ass named Jenny.
What's that, Jenny?
In this cozy sweatered conflict that the whole town gets in on because they don't have TV yet, so this is basically their Love Island.
Why aren't you talking to Pádraig Sullivan no more? Didn't you and he used to be the best of friends?
We're still the best of friends.
No, you're not.
Farrell got fingered. From the Damn Daniels, who brought you Farting Harry Potter Corpse, and Alabamans a Horse, comes the decade's best film about the multiverse. And that's saying something because Kevin Feige has been trying his best, okay? In this absurdist take on generational trauma, existential angst, and actors feeding each other their hot dog fingers, where even if you suddenly learn Kung Fu, the real takeaway is learning patience, kindness, and then maybe you should throw out your Trader Joe's everything bagel seasoning because it only leads to problems. Yo, 824 Raps. Starring these 2022 entertainment trends. Getting sick. Extreme class divides. And fighting the rising tide of fascism. We really are just rebooting the Roaring '20s all over again, huh? Wasn't there anything original to this year? And Donkey Death.
Ah, Jenny.
Oscars 1995. Wait, that can't be right. The 95th Oscars. Does he know? If you've made it this far, you might actually care about the Oscars, you sick little freak. We analyze the declining quality of Best Picture winners over time with actual objective data in an all-new episode of By the Numbers. Click the thumbnail on the right to watch exactly how, why, and where it went wrong. And the Oscar goes to Man Gets Hit by Football. Keep My Wife's Name Out your ampersand number, dollar percentage ampersand mouth. I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling screen junkies. You must gather your party before venturing forth.